The Gospel reading for this morning is taken from John's Gospel, chapter 14, beginning to read at verse 15. It is entitled, Jesus Promises the Holy Spirit. Jesus says, "If you love me, you will keep my commands. I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever, the Spirit of truth. The world cannot accept him because it neither sees him nor knows him. But you know him, for he lives in you and will be with you. I will not leave you as orphans," Jesus says. "I will come to you. Before long the world will not see me anymore, but you will see me. Because I live, you also will live. On that day you will realize that I am in my Father, and you are in me, and I am in you. Whoever has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me. The one who loves me will be loved by the Father, and I too will love them and show them to myself." That's the end of this morning's Gospel reading. Clearly a reading that speaks of God the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit. And so let's just consider together what that might mean for each of us. Those who've suffered under my preaching might be surprised to know that I do actually do a bit of thinking before I say anything. Thinking doesn't come naturally, so to ease the pain, Mrs. Gillions very generously allows me a small chocolate bar. And I've noticed that it said on the side of the pack, multi-pack, not to be sold separately. If it came in a pack of 3, it would be a great illustration of the Holy Trinity, because there's 3 distinct elements that come together in one package. Unfortunately, it came in a pack of 4, so that's something I'll put aside at the moment and leave it there for now. Now at the moment, Jonathan and I are spending time doing confirmation preparation classes with some of the young people from church. These sessions are both enjoyable and challenging in equal measure. Enjoyable simply to spend some time with young people. Challenging, trying to share the faith in a way that is both accessible and authentic. Now this is not a new problem. Throughout the ministry of Jesus, we see how he engaged with people in a variety of ways to reveal who he was and what God was really like. And it's easy to think that if we were there 2,000 years ago, then we would have understood a lot more. If only we'd walked alongside him, seen the miracles, heard the teaching, and listened to the parables. It's easy to think that, but I also suspect it's totally wrong. What we see in the Gospel accounts is not the disciples growing in faith and understanding. Rather, like most of the people who Jesus spoke with, they were left scratching their heads. The parables, for example, are good examples of this, because you see apparently simple stories leading people to start thinking the unthinkable. Could my neighbour really be someone who's not one of us? Does God really welcome people back even though they have messed up in every conceivable way? Can outsiders or even collaborators be seen to be more righteous than people of faith? Once a year, the Jewish community would remember how God had miraculously delivered them from slavery in Egypt by sharing the Exodus story over a meal together, the Passover meal. At this precise time, in what were the final few days before his death, Jesus takes the disciples into an upper room to share that Passover meal with them. It's the still before the storm. As they sit around the supper table, what we see unfolding is Jesus sharing with them a picture of God's true nature, which sounds incredible. He begins by washing their feet and gives a very intimate picture of God and what following God means. He shows that leadership can be expressed in service, that following God is shown in the love that we have for each other, that death will no longer have the final say. Then in the gospel passage we heard today, he makes a wonderful promise to them. He says that after his death they will not be left alone, that the Holy Spirit would come to them. In a few short sentences he tells them of the loving intimacy found between himself, God the Father, and the Spirit. It gives us a glimpse of the mystery of love that is at the very heart of the Trinity's being. Jesus says, I will ask the Father and he will give you another helper to be with you forever, the Spirit of truth. Because I live, you will also live. You will realise that I am in my Father and you are in me and I am in you. These words speak of a faith that is more than understanding concepts. It's based on an invitation to encounter God through the Spirit, to share in that shared love. But as the disciples saw the events of the following days unfold, these words must have sounded nothing more than empty promises and vain ideas. The Gospel account tells us that having seen Jesus crucified, the disciples lost hope. What they'd heard Jesus say was simply too good to be true. What changed their mind was nothing less than miraculous. The resurrection of Jesus and the coming of the Spirit transformed their desolation into faith, a faith that not only changed them, but changed the world. The words that Jesus spoke to the few around the meal table are a call to each of us now, a call for each of us to know the remarkable truth. We are invited to share in the mystery of love and to know whatever we face, we do not face it alone. Before lockdown, I remember meeting some old friends in the pub. I saw the three of them sat at the table enjoying each other's company, and I was delighted to be joining with them. Their friendship is supportive, they bring out the very best in me. You see, we're all made in the image of God, which means we're all meant for relationship. Jesus said, I will ask the Father, and he will give you another helper, a helper who will be with you forever, the Spirit of truth. Yes, it seems too good to be true, but it is the truth. May we all grow deeper into that relationship. Amen.